Hey there, folks. Are you passionate about democracy and concerned about the rise of authoritarianism? I'm Joanne, Kevin's wife, and I've seen him give everything to this work. That's why Coffee with Democrats matters, lifting up stories, building connections, and keeping democracy strong. So tune in every Tuesday at 7 p.m. for 30 minutes of conversation with elected officials, candidates, and Democratic influencers, only on Coffee with Democrats. So join me in welcoming the Executive Director and host of Coffee with Democrats, my husband, Kevin Dawson.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome to Coffee with Democrats. My name is Kevin Dawson. I'm also the Democratic candidate for Labor Commissioner. So welcome to Coffee with Democrats today. We are out at the Teamsters Union Hall on West Reno here in Oklahoma City. We're reporting live and we're going to be coming to you here for a couple of hours. And so just share this with as many people as you can. Let them know that we're going to be doing this live event. And as we do this, we're going to have interviews with as many people as come through here as we can and talk to them. But a lot of this is just going to be able to share the ambiance and share what's going on the other cameras. So let me turn it around here so you can see what's going on at the watermelon feed. All right, we're back with you here live at the Union Hall. And after yesterday being out in the very extreme hot weather up in Tahlequah, today I'm eating watermelon and enjoying this and getting rehydrated. All right, here's all the scoop here. We are at 886. The Union Hall is local Teamsters Union 886 in Oklahoma City. And we're located at 3528 West Reno Avenue here in Oklahoma City. So please come by. We've got plenty of watermelon back here. Candidates are starting to show up, so we're going to be doing some interviews here in a little bit. Spread the word to people and let them know that we're on. All right. Well, good to see you again. Such a good friend. We need to stop doing these things like this by accident. We need to plan more in advance, don't we?
Yeah. I'm short on planning in advance. Hey, before we get started, tell me a little bit about what you and other candidates have been doing this week. Just kind of run through your list.
This has been. I'm trying to remember all the things we've done. So I'm just finishing up my Route 66 tour on my side. Jim and I yesterday, we were together at one of the hottest events in the state. We were both up at Tahlequah with Dogs with Democrats. We were up there with so many different candidates. I know that Jasmine was there. We talked to both Jim and Jasmine. They both gave speeches. We had Chris Weir was one of the hosts that was up there. We also had some other people that were. I'm trying to remember. Hannah Cole, who's running for the House District. Aaron Brewer was there representing ODP. We had Rosie Lynch. Thank you very much. Rosie was there from Okmulgee, and she's so much dynamite with her. I love her to death. And who else, Jim, was up there that I'm missing? Chris Weir, got him, and Hannah Cole, and I think that's possibly all of them. Anyhow, if I'm scatterbrained, it seems like every day just kind of blends into the next. Mm-hmm. So like I said, we're just finishing up our Route 66 tour. We're going to just start doing local events for a little while, and then we're going to go on our next tour is going to be Northwest tour on George 9 Northwest tour going up to Woodward and Guyman and all the counties up there. So we're gonna concentrate on the western half through August of the state, and we've also got an idea of trying to do something in a couple of weeks, riding Amtrak down to Ardmore and trying to get something going down there where we can get several counties together in that area. So look for more things as they develop. But I can tell you this: every day is just like a blur. We're just one day runs into the next, and there's so much windshield time. 77 counties, you think you're going to be able to count them on one hand or two and all your feet and toes, but it's a big state.
Yes, it is.
And getting to all of the people is a statewide race. It's such a fun experience. it's just time consuming. I don't regret any of it. I'm enjoying it. I'm having the time of my life right now. So that's what I'm doing as far as labor commissioner. And I know that the other candidates, when I meet up with them, we're all having a blast. And the camaraderie that we're having is just something amazing. And I'm really proud of that. So let's talk a little bit more about you and what you're doing with the Disability Federation.
Okay, so I will talk about that really quick, but I do want to mention that the energy is palpable, and you can see the cooperation and the camaraderie between the candidates. And I know a lot of these events are coordinated between multiple counties,
Right.
And there are multiple candidates working together to show up at things and do things together. And so this level of cooperation and initiative from the base up is amazing, and I believe that's the kind of energy that we need. And so I want to thank CD5 and Oklahoma County for co-hosting this with us. I also want to thank Joe Dorman is our generous donor of the Rest Springs watermelon, which are great, are they not? Let's see, who else? I'll think of, my ride or die. My husband is one of the most amazing people. It doesn't matter what I'm doing, he's right there 110% or more helping. So he's amazing. So the disability, thank you. So the Disability Federation is it's been authorized by the Constitution and the bylaws for several years, actually since 2017. It hasn't really been very active. However, several legislatures, one of which is Ellen Hefner,
Right.
who helped organize the first annual ADA Disability March this morning. And so, and then there's a couple of other ones, but Ellen Hefner is really a major organizer. She's also been having sessions, where she invites people in to listen, and panels. And so I feel like that there is an opportunity for us to have more visibility. The disability community is not visible to people. And there are people in our communities that have disabilities that you cannot tell that they do. But at this time in history, the disability community is under direct and sustained attack from multiple directions. And so we do need we need allyship and support, and we need visibility, and that's what I'm working on doing. And so again, I'm going to thank you because you came off the road and you didn't hesitate to do this. We're trying to do something new, a new format, because a lot of times the disability community does not feel comfortable coming out into the public because they don't know if it's going to be accommodating for them or if it's going to be a welcoming environment. And those are things that we need to change. So by doing this format, I'm able, and our federation is able to reach our intended audience, which is the disability community, because we want them to see us and see that we represent them, but we also want them to see our Democratic candidates, because we believe our Democratic candidates are our best hope in the future, and we need to get them elected. So we work on that. There you go. And so we have a dual purpose. We're reaching out, but then we're drawing in, but we have to do things in such a way is to make it welcoming and accommodating for our community. And so I appreciate everyone that came out tonight and all of the good friends. Let's see, my good friend, now my brain went dead. Angela Utley drove from Washington County to do mixtapes, to do videographs so that we can put things on our website also, our website, our YouTube, and our social media. So thank you again. Let's get on to the candidate interviews because that's what we're here to do.
Well, thank you. And again, let's give a round of applause for Robert and her husband for putting this on, getting it organized, and putting everything together. When you look at the atmosphere out here, it's just amazing. You know, we're set up with all these tables. They've got, tablecloths on them. We've got this wonderful studio area up here set up for doing these interviews. It was very well thought out, and I want to appreciate everything that Barbara has done for the Disability Federation. So we're going to start with Travis is going to be our next candidate up here, our first candidate. So how we're going to do this is we're going to give everybody equal time. I think about 10 minutes is going to be the time limit that we're going to look at. So if you come up and give us a 10-minute speech about your campaign, and then that gives us an idea of, Jim can plan on serving more watermelon for at least the next 30 minutes before he has to be up here. And then we'll get him up here as well. So, and he's got an apron on too, to give him time to shed that apron and get up here in his gear. So, all right.
Hey,
appreciate you being here, Travis.
My pleasure.
It's great to have you here. Talk to us about your campaign.
Campaign's going awesome. This is my first go around representing District 82. That's West Edmond, Deer Creek, 8th Ward, Oklahoma City, and Putnam City.
Go ahead and tell us your campaign speech. What are you running on and all that stuff?
Running on, goodness, drew a blank. Running on better education, smarter education, smarter infrastructure, mental health, better mental health for the community, veteran benefits, better access for veterans and seniors. And that's about where we're at.
Well, that's good. And you talk about all of your experiences being out on the road and meeting with the constituents in your district. So let's talk a little bit more about some of those experiences, what you're doing, and what your outreach consists of, what it feels like being on the doors, talking with your constituents, and just kind of get into it. Just explain, give us the highlights of running for office, because it can be a drag, but it can also be one of the most rewarding times of your life.
Yes, it really can be. It really is, actually. I'm not viewing it as a drag,
Good.
Even though I'm sure for some people it can be a drag.
Every one of the Republicans tell me it's a drag. That's the only way I know that.
It is time consuming, as we were talking about earlier. I love it though. We get out there, we meet the people. You got to put the work in, that's for sure.
Right.
And people are susceptible. You go ahead and knock on the doors, you go ahead up there, and people, for the most part, are willing to listen to what you have to say.
Yeah, and it's surprising how many people they'll open the door and they'll say, you're the first candidate that I've talked to ever at my door.
Yeah, that happened. That has happened.
Yeah,
definitely.
So it's such an amazing thing. So I want to give you more time. You still got more time here to talk about your campaign. Give us some more idea about some of the people who are helping you. If you want to call out and recognize some people that are helping you with your campaign, because I know on my side, all the volunteers that are helping with the campaign, they mean more to me than money, because they are the backbone of the campaign. And I appreciate all their hard work, their dedication. And for every one of the people that are working on my campaign are working for free. And I think so, they're the three things that we need out of people is time, treasure, and talent. And the talent that's being devoted to my campaign is just amazing. I couldn't be more happy, surprised, and amazed at all the people who are coming forward to help with the campaign. And I'm so gracious and so blessed that they're with me and being able to spend just a few months with each other and learning each other and having them get behind the campaign and really push it forward. So tell me more about what's going on your side.
Been doing a lot of work with Bridget Zorn as far as coordinating and helping me figure out what to do.
Yeah.
That's
well, you talk about that. She's an amazing analyst. She's been around for a long time. She worked very hard on Joy Hoffmeister's campaign.
Absolutely.
And she is so when you talk about with people with credentials working on your campaign, don't get much better than that right there. That's got to say a lot about how she's got a lot of faith in you. You got a lot of faith in her.
Yes.
To work together. So tell us about that. I mean,
she's been wonderful. One of the first things that she told me is that I believe in you.
That's good.
And that always helps, that gets me fired up, gives
Right.
me the gumption to go out there and get after it.
That's good. That's good.
And we have a team every other Tuesday. We all meet and we just brainstorm and discuss what's going on and best practices and how we can get better. This past week, we were talking about our social media presence,
Right.
and how we can capitalize on that and get going better with that. And I've had a tremendous amount of success with my social media platform. I've actually, in the demographics and the insight, I've gotten over 21,000 views as far as since we've been doing this, and I guess we started in April.
Yeah.
And so that's going really well.
And I think that's when you and I met first, was either April 1st or April 2nd. Yes, at the filing. Yes. So,
yes, sir.
yeah. So, and I've seen you around before, but don't get me wrong. I mean, you meet people and then you lose track of them, and then we meet up
Right.
again. It's like, friends again,
Put a face with the name.
Yes. So it's wonderful to have you, Travis, and I appreciate everything that you're doing. Any last messages that you want to get out to people about helping your campaign?
Just anything you can do, whatever you can do, whether it's just passing the name on, knocking doors, and in addition, doing your best in your own campaign. That helps as well, We're all in this together. We're all part of the Democratic Party, and we all want to see each other win and succeed. So the more of us that are in, the better we do collectively, the better off our Democratic Party is. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you very much for coming up, and we will be in touch with you. I'll take this and we'll give it to the next candidate. But yeah, let's talk about that. What's your website address? How can people email you? How can we reach you? Thank you. I appreciate that, Angela.
My email address is head2026@gmail.com. That's HEADD2026@gmail.com. My website is head2026.com. That's HEADD2026.com.
Perfect. Thanks so much. All right. I'm going to stick that on there. Thanks so much. Good to see you again. Thank you. Yes, thank you for giving a big round of applause. So I think, Susie, you're next. Jim's next. All right. I thought we were going to give Jim a little extra time to hand out watermelon, but come on up, Jim.
I wanted everybody to see the nice apron that Ms. Cox gave us. Glad to serve.
Well, I'm going to kind of hold this between us so that you don't have to hang on to it, but if you want to grab it and talk, that's fine too. But so talk about your campaign, kind of give us some idea about your campaign, but I want you to give us that elevator speech. Everybody wants to hear those elevator speeches. I know I enjoy it every time that we get together. I enjoy the elevator speeches that everybody gives, and everybody's is different because it's a personal message.
Right.
And I appreciate yours as well, and I want people to be able to hear that. So talk to us.
Well, I want to talk about the ADA because that's kind of the purpose of the gathering. So I'll get to that in a minute because I served as a lawyer for 35 years, including cases involving the ADA. And it was very interesting work. I represented the Americans with Disability Law Center, the Oklahoma Disability Law Center, and it was great work. So the elevator speech, I guess, going up.
Yes.
Let's say I grew up in a blue collar home. My dad was a union leader, but our family story goes back to my great grandfather, who was an immigrant. He came to this country seeking a better life, and he got a job in the coal mines in Pennsylvania. And he worked that. He had 4 kids. He had a wife. He had a home that was owned by the company that he rented. He bought groceries from the company store, and he was paid in company script, not real money. And that's the way the company controlled his life.
Right.
Well, one day he died in a coal mine cave-in at the age of 41. And they brought his body home in a wheelbarrow and dumped him on the front porch and said to Phoebe, my great grandmother, somebody needs to show up at the mine tomorrow, or they would have to leave their home. Well, the 4 little kids, the oldest was 12 years old. That was my Grandpa Tom. And Grandpa Tom went to the mines the next day. He had to quit school. The principal came and begged Phoebe not to send him to the mines, but she didn't have any choice. That was how they were going to live. So Grandpa went to the mines. He was a breaker boy at the beginning. They pick coal from rock on an incline. It's a very dangerous job for little kids. And if you look up breaker boys in Wikipedia or some other online, you'll see these little kids. They're all covered in coal dust and child labor laws.
Yes.
Which we can thank Democrats for the fact that you can't put 12-year-old kids to work in the mine anymore.
Right. Yeah, that's good.
So Grandpa went to the coal mines, and he was a miner for many, many years, got what they call mining papers that allowed him to work down there. He was also the guy that took the canary down in the mine before anybody else went to make sure there wasn't a gas leak somewhere. If the canary died, that means, okay, we're not working today. So Grandpa broke his leg in the mine. There was no OSHA, there was no workers' comp, no insurance. He walked with a limp for the rest of his life and died at the age of 55 of black lung disease. My dad was in World War II, and while he was over in Europe fighting, Grandpa and Grandma and 2 other siblings of my dad moved so that they could get a factory job, because my grandpa did not want my dad coming back to the mines. And so that's what he did. He got a factory job. Dad got a factory job. He became a union leader. And it was a great story of the American climb to the top. You know, great grandpa built us a little platform on which Grandpa could build. And then Grandpa built a little platform on which my dad could build. And then my dad built a little platform on which I could build. And I was the first person to go to college in my family. And then I went on to law school. And when I went to law school and graduated, my dad kind of stuck his finger in my chest and he said, "Don't forget where you came from. And don't think just because you put a white shirt and a tie on, that makes you a Republican."
Right.
So I never did forget. And I hear my dad's words in my ears often. Don't forget where you came from. So my campaign is all about, let's bring America together. We've had enough of the division, of the arguing, the bickering, the finger pointing. That's what we see in Washington. And they're not, for the most part, not solving problems that are facing people every day.
Right.
There's an exception to that, and we ought to praise them when they do something right. Tim Scott, who's a very conservative Republican from South Carolina, in the U.S. Senate, and Elizabeth Warren, who's a very progressive Democrat from Massachusetts, got together on a bill to solve the housing crisis.
Right.
And it doesn't completely cure it, but it's a big step. And they were able to rally both sides of the aisle for that. And that's the kind of action that we need in Congress. That's what I've done all my life through the law, through my nonprofit leadership work. I was a minister. I tried to bring people together to solve problems. And that's what we hope to do.
Well, it's wonderful. And, you know, I hear that story quite often from you, and I appreciate that because it's such a fun experience. And it's so fun for you to share that and be able to hear that from you. And it's a genuine experience, you know, the life experiences that we have and carry down from our parents and great grandfather, like what you're talking about, is so important for us to be able to carry that on. Talk to us a little bit more about you running for Senate.
Right, United States Senate.
And it's just, you're going to represent all 77 counties.
Right.
So
it's the seat that Mark Wayne Mullen used to hold. And I tell people often, Mark Wayne Mullen was my motivation. I would see him on TV and I would think, I think we can do better than this.
Right.
And so I think we've got to start working together and find common ground. That's, as a mediator in law cases, that was my job. You come into a room and there's people that have sued each other and they're mad, and you couldn't find 2 people more far apart than people that have sued each other, unless you go to Congress. And my job was to help them find common ground. And I think we can do that, but sometimes we have to fight. We had a bully in our 6th grade class, and he was abusing some girls, and I finally had to stand up to him. I had to fight him. And, I was a little scared because he was so big, I couldn't even reach his face. And I told my dad the night before I was supposed to fight this kid, I said, Dad, I don't know how to fight him. I can't even reach his face to hit him. Dad said, can you reach his stomach? I said, well, yeah, it's eye level. And he goes, well, just keep hitting him in the stomach until he bends over. And then when he bends over, hit him in the face. So that's what I did. And the teachers broke it up after probably, 5 minutes. And we were sent to the principal's office. We sat next to each other. This always, I thought was funny. They take 2 kids that had just been fighting and they put them in chairs next to each other in the principal's office. And I didn't think the fight was out of both of us at that point, but he leans over to me and he says, that was a pretty good fight, priest. I didn't know you had it in you. But that's what you have to do sometimes with bullies, is stand up to them. And that's who we have in the White House. We've got to have a Congress that will step up to the plate and say, that's enough. You don't have the authority to impose tariffs. You don't have the authority to bomb Iran without a declaration of war from Congress. And we need to make sure that the American government returns to a balance of the executive, the legislative, and the judicial branches.
So did that guy ever learn from that fight? Did he ever bully people after that you know of?
I don't know. He kind of became a friend. We're like pals and buddies, but he would speak to me in the hallways and that sort of thing. He never gave me any trouble again.
There you go.
And I think that's what you have to do with bullies. Let me say a quick word about the Americans with Disabilities Act, because it's such an important statute. And again, it's the day we're celebrating here. 1990, this law was signed into law by the first President Bush. And a bipartisan coalition came together. There were a few naysayers, some business interests didn't want it. They said, oh, it's going to cost too much money. There were some other groups that didn't want to cover people that had HIV. And that's sad, but the bipartisanship overcame all that opposition.
Right.
And it's been improved over the years. And I used to teach seminars about the ADA, and I would say it's not only to stop discrimination. The ADA is unique. It's unlike Title VII that covers race, religion, national origin. It covers people with disabilities or perceived disabilities. If you get treated different because people think you have a disability and treat you that way, and it puts on businesses the requirement that they provide accommodations. So I would always say the ADA is kind of like a 2-step dance. Do accommodate, don't discriminate.
Right.
And so you have to take affirmative action to help people do the job. And sometimes that's hard to navigate, but so you got to work. The ADA calls for what they call an interactive process, where you sit down with a person and say, okay, you have a disability. Let's say you're in a wheelchair, and part of your job responsibility is to bring the mail upstairs every day, and we don't have an elevator. So how are you going to do that? Well, they may not be able to do that, but is that a central part of their job? And if it's not, then you have to carve that out. And I, as the boss, have to go downstairs and get my own mail.
Right.
And that's what it takes. It takes thinking outside the box and thinking of the other person first. So I applaud President Bush for doing that. His son, George Bush, signed some amendments that improved it. And it's a good law that people understand they need to comply with.
But it was a bipartisan law. Too.
Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah, we give credit where credit's due, but we also have to give credit to everybody that was involved in that too. So, where are you going next? What's your next plans in this next week?
Well, Tuesday evening, we're having a meet and greet fundraiser at the home of Elaine Hobson in Norman, and everybody's invited. You can come. Elaine has been very gracious to open her home, and Cal Hobson, former Senate president, will also be there. and a number of different people are hosting. So that's Thursday, on Tuesday. And then next Thursday, I'm going to Washington County. And next Tuesday, I have another fundraiser here in Oklahoma City, being sponsored by David High, an attorney here in town. So I spend my time trying to raise money and trying to meet people and answer questions. That's kind of my job description.
Right. And that's so important right now because, again, time, talent, and treasure, you have to work on those all the time. And I think one of the most important things for us candidates right now, because of the extreme amount of funds that are being funneled into the other party, corporate interests, billionaires who don't want to lose, they'll spend hundreds of millions of dollars to help this candidate so that they don't have to pay another penny in taxes. Mm-hmm. But our way of fighting that is through social media. We have to get everybody on social media engaged. And that's the one thing that not just social media, email, everything that we can do electronically to share our message among our family, our friends, our colleagues, our neighbors, the people in our congregation, at church. We have to get that information out however we can, because that's going to be the way that we win this race, because not everybody, you're going to probably get some really good donations after the 25th if you win. And then after that point, you'll be able to get that money to be able to use that for media buys. But most of us down ballot are not going to do that.
Yeah.
And it's so important for us to be able to have that structure of everybody being part of this fight. It's not just, Kevin Dawson and Jim Priest that's in this fight. We may be out there with our name on the ballot, but every single person that's out there who wants to vote and wants to support us, they need to do more than just vote. They need to get behind us and actually start sharing our content. It's great when people give us a thumbs up whenever we put something out. Yeah, we know that people are seeing us when they do that, but what really matters is that share. Yeah. Every single time a person shares, then hundreds of people see that beyond our own content, what we can get out.
Yeah, and Kevin's very good at every place we stop. He talks about this sharing thing. Your voting is extremely important. Your vote is your voice, but you also have a voice that you can speak with. And sometimes that's a verbal voice. Sometimes it's a social media voice. So always sharing things that are posted, that happens a lot. We see the different county parties sharing. Individuals can share those things too. And let me just say a quick word before we wrap this up about Kevin. Kevin's running for labor commissioner. A lot of people, that's not an office that a lot of people deal with, but as an employment lawyer, a civil rights lawyer, I dealt a lot with the labor commission, and I represented the labor commissioner in litigation. And I know how important that job is. I've looked at the qualifications of the candidates on the other side. I've looked at Kevin's qualifications, and he is far and away the most qualified candidate. And I don't think I'm preaching to the choir here. You guys are probably going to vote for him. But if you're watching this and you're wondering, Kevin Dawson, look at his resume, his backgrounds, and I think you have to vote on the qualifications of the candidates. That's what I tell people when they look at me, and that's what I say about looking at Kevin. So,
I appreciate that. Thank you so much, Pat. And it's great to have that accolade. I appreciate you saying that. And again, thanks so much. All right, we're going to get Susie. We're going to get Susie, and then we got, So take your time, Susie.
See how tall this is? My race was 10 of these about that tall. So I was a hurdler. All of them. You'll be able to get it from Barbara.
It's so good to see you.
You too.
You came all the way down from Enid.
Yes, I did.
I love Enid. If you spell it backwards, it's Dine.
Yes, I knew that. It is probably the reddest city in Oklahoma. And we're known for a couple of stories in the New York Times because we had to eradicate somebody we voted for a city commissioner. And it happened to be a Nazi, they decided.
Yes.
But anyway, I'm running for Congress because I think I became very frustrated And I would prefer that all of our candidates, to be quite honest with you, were like Nick Coffey. Because he's so young, he's so motivated, and I'm not saying we're not, but I think that another reason that I'm running is to push forward new leaders. And I think that if people see me run, see Grandma run, then perhaps they will realize they can.
Right.
And I'd like to call it a race, but it's not. It's going to be an uphill climb. But I can do either. Probably what I'm known best for is that I was Oklahoma State University's first female All-American athlete. Thank you. And I did things when I was right at Title IX, so my scholarship, you guys sit down for all this NIL money I got. It was free room and board provided. I babysit on Sunday nights, so that was quite a deal. One of the things that, my biggest thing that I'm running for, I think one of it is universal health care. Because I feel like that it's just ridiculous what's going on with our health care. We pay the most, as you all know, of any other country for health care, and we're not getting good results. And I also think the increased amount of money that people have to pay is something that we could be doing elsewhere. Another one of my things for my run is a burger and a beer. What does that mean? A burger and a beer means that after someone's worked a week, let's say 36 to 40 hours, they should be able to go to their home, relax, have a burger and a beer.
Yeah.
Now, we know that doesn't interest the top 10% in our country. They get on their jets and go somewhere. But I think that that's significant because we've got to start giving our younger kids hope. In regards to housing, the housing bill was a good deal. I'm researching right now for myself a way that we can put forth more affordable housing. And I've got a guy working on plans to do that. Not only do we've got to do a twofold deal here. We've got to get our kids in their own homes, but we've got to make them understand that they can't move into the homes that their parents did. 2,000 square foot homes, they can't afford it. So my idea is to go out and have kids move back in, let's say, first home, 1,000 square foot home, but brand new, with all the bells and whistles. I personally built myself a barn house, so I think it's possible. I think one of the things we've got to be aware of is, like we're talking about disabilities, we know that not everybody is born in the same situation, especially either physically or economically. I was fortunate to be a person that had a lot of athletic ability. It didn't matter. I was all state 2 sports. It just didn't. Today, I wished it would have been music or something that I could go somewhere and perform or something that nobody ever asked me to hurdle. So I think we have to recognize this. One of the things that we have to be wary of right now is, this is stuff I haven't said before, but I think we have to be wary of the fact that of the ladders. People need ladders. And all the people that are at the top will say, pull up your bootstraps, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. You know, I don't know what I'm going to do. I need to come up with something else to offset that. But a lot of people don't have bootstraps. And my family didn't. And when I was, my first coach that I had was my father, and he died when I was a senior in high school, very young. And my sister was only 13. I was a pretty girl at Scramble, so I started my first business, and that was teaching swimming lessons. But I thought my sister followed behind me. The greatest thing about having her behind me is that we were going through trauma, I was struggling to get through college, but she was able to take care of herself. And one of the ladders that's been provided to a lot of people in education is what they call the Pell Grant.
Yes.
You're familiar with the Pell Grant? And they tried to reduce it. I haven't looked to see, but Trump has always been excited to get rid of the Department of Education. And I'm going to talk on a video with her about this. The Pell Grant got her through school. My dad said she wasn't as good an athlete as I was. He said, you'll find what you're good at. And her deal was she was smart. So she was able to get the Pell Grant, And she's since taught probably 500 elementary students, and she was a good teacher. And also, about 900, she went on to get her doctorate in education, and 900 other students to become teachers. So we're getting rid of all of our, we've been getting rid of ladders, so what are we gonna do? We've got to step up and do that. And I feel like that, you know, right now is a good time for us to all be running because we understand all the unfairness that's going on. Since Reagan got into office, he's the one that started this. Boy, we all love Grandpa Reagan. Now we have a couple of Republicans talking about it. Women think it's just wonderful. But the problem is, it was good then maybe for all of us, but as baby boomers, I feel almost obligated because we ruined a lot of things.
Yeah, we did.
We did?
We did, yeah.
And they say we don't want to talk about our history or DEI or whatever it is, but our history is that we went along with privatizing everything.
Right.
And see, I look at this as Republicans. They like socialism. But once that sucker gets going, start making some money, what they do? Privatize.
Right.
That's the deal. So we've got to get back to, I believe, lifting the kids up and stuff, because we can't continue on giving the top 10% all the money. Since Reagan, there has been, I believe, $75 million has gone from the bottom to the top.
Right.
And the other thing, they are known for this. If you want to know simply what happened, it was called trickle
Trickle-down economics now.
and trickle-down economics, and we'll talk about Mr. Bush 1 again. He said when he got in office, and if you all remember, he only had one term. He said trickle-down economics is nonsense, and we need to tax some of these people.
Right.
Was he elected again?
No.
But he was telling the truth. And I'm just going to end this by saying, there's this little gal, I don't know if any of you guys saw her or not, but I started following this little gal named Kelsey, I believe it's Finland. She's the gal that just this late summer rode her boat from California to Hawaii.
Right.
And I watched all of her little clips, and sometimes remember one time she got in the water, I think she was impressed. She put a tight rope on herself and she jumped into the water. I don't know how she got all that salt off of her later, but she said, I thought I needed to be revitalized. And it was towards the beginning. And I don't know if I'm sure all of you face a little of what I've faced. It's hard. I felt alone. The Democrat Party needs to be better in Oklahoma. And we've got enough people running right now. We have to support each other. And whether all of us win or not, we've got to start this enthusiasm and move it forward.
Right.
And I watched her, and there'd be a day when she said, oh, I got this wall up behind me, and oh, I was pushed forward so much faster. And at the end, she started worrying about, what am I going to do now? What am I going to do next?
Yeah.
I mean, she was rowing, and thinking, wait, 45 days she rowed. And it's not your little rowboat. It had a place underneath it. And she was protected. And at one point, she talked to a boat way off. They go, hey, we see you. How long have you been there? And they were foreign. But the night she pulled into Hawaii, Honolulu, she was done. And she said after everybody, there was a lot more people there than she thought. She went into a coat closet in the door. She said she had to sit there for a minute because she had been 45 days without anybody. But this is what she said, and all of us need to remember, whether we're running for office or we're helping, is that her deal was everybody needs to find their hard thing.
Right.
Everybody needs to find their hard thing. My hard thing once was to line up at the Collegiate Nationals in Corvallis, Oregon, one of 8 in the finals, and look either way, and they were all a lot bigger than me, and I was the only one in that race that looked like me. And 100 meters is quick. And there was a girl that was supposed to room with us, and she didn't. And I had 2 other girls that came from Oklahoma running something, and longer distances. And she just kind of blew us off, so to speak. She didn't want to run with us. And she was a 100-meter hurdler. And they said, beat her, Susie, beat her. And I went, yeah, right. She's got the fastest time in the country. Did I beat her? I did.
Good.
I'm not going to tell you how. But the hurdle race, somebody started too fast. The next time they called us back, they ran us again, and the same girl jumped the gun again, but this time they didn't call us back. So everybody's feeling a little bit behind. I'm just running my race because there's a certain way I had to run because I couldn't hit a hurdle. Some of these girls are so big it didn't matter. So as I'm running along there, they start pressing, lowering knees, and I can hear the hurdles falling, and I heard the stadium go, oh! And I'm thinking, if they all fall, I will win. So in these races, we've got to keep in mind, we don't know what's going to happen. But she fell, and I did end up beating her. And I got fourth in the nation that day. It wasn't first. I told my grandson this lesson. He said, you know, I want you to be a winner. First, right? And I said, just do it. It's like she said, do your hard thing. And I think we're all doing our hard thing. And I said, no, you do the best you can do. And I will guarantee you on that day, fourth was my best. I couldn't have done any better. I really couldn't have done any better. So I appreciate the fact that on your running, we're doing our hard things. And we got to run to the end. We've got what? August, September, October. And I would, much like they've just said,
100 days.
100 days. And as Kevin told you, let's all get on social media and pass our information along so we can get on all the algorithms, somebody else's algorithm. And that will help all of us hopefully do this. Because I plan to get in this race and be it. The guy I'm running against has been in for 32 years.
Right.
And my campaign manager said, oh, he's out there saying, no, now he's got August, they're all from August 7th to I believe September 14th. So they're gonna be out there. My question is where were they?
Right.
Where were they when they decided to tear up the east wing of the White House?
Right.
Where was my congressman then? Where was he out educating people about AI in these data centers? Because I'm telling you, these people that are on these commissions, somebody said the other day when I said this, I said, they might not know about this. And as a reporter, I came in my retirement job and did a reporter. That's another reason I decided to do this, because I met all these yahoos and they weren't saying anything. And I know from covering state, city commissioners and all these people, and school boards, that some of these people are not the brightest people in the world, and they don't know. They need help. But certainly something like AI and data centers is something nobody knows anything about. And my question is, where were they? We don't have any rules. We don't have any regulations. Congress is not doing anything. And so in Oklahoma, and some of the local people, they're not doing education. So there's so many things we have to do. So I would say, for all of you, let's do our hard thing.
Right. You know, and so, yeah, please give her a round of applause. So two things I want to follow up with was, number one, being mentor for the young people. I think that's such a valuable story because that's the same way I feel about it. Hey, speak truth. That's the way it is. I'm an old white guy. It's time for somebody else to take the lead. And if it's a young lady, I'm all for that. I'm ready to get behind somebody and really do that. But I'm good with being that, paving the way for that next person and helping mentor and bring up that next person to give them encouragement to do what we're doing. Second thing is, we talk about these other people and what they want to do and where have they been. And you see on their social media, and you see on their walk cards, they want to cut red tape. Well, in the Department of Labor, I keep asking this question. What red tape are you talking about? Is it the red tape that keeps people safe when they're riding an elevator? Is it the red tape that keeps people safe when they're riding an escalator? Is it the red tape that keeps people safe when they're using biofuels? Is it the red tape that keeps people safe when they're dealing with asbestos or child labor laws or, investigating wage theft? Is that the red tape that they're talking about? Is that what they want to do away with? If that's the environment that they want, then we're looking for anarchy. And that's not what we want in our state. We've got to have qualified people and people like yourself to be able to run this nation, be able to have that voice in our state and say, this is the purpose for us today, and this is what we're going to do for our state and for our constituents. And it's going to be keep people safe and provide prosperity for the future.
One of the people that said something about AI and data centers, the best thing I heard came from the public. And I'm going to face it, Republicans have never liked regulation. And they like privatization. They want the money to come in and whatever they have to do. One time, we talk about disabilities. I was a business owner. I've owned over 12 businesses or so. As an owner, as an operator, as a partner. And I went in to start one of the businesses and I had to move that toilet. It was probably less than 3 inches. $3,000. So that's the story you hear from everybody. I had to go do this, I had to do. Didn't think about why, which was really important. But this thing you're talking about, mentoring, my talks, I would like you to get in, regardless of, and I plan to do a good job if I do. I'm a visionary. I'm not a detail person, I guess what with that. But I see a lot of things we need to do. But the thing about it is, we need to get these kids excited. I'm 4 in. If I don't like it, I'm out in 2. Really. I'm typically like a 5-year person before I go to the next job or whatever. But I put on my Facebook that I was doing this and I was wanting to encourage young people to get involved in government. And I had at least 5 or 6 young people get on my Facebook page and said, I'm into that. I would do that. Because right now they're thinking it's worthless. That's why they're not voting. So I think that mentoring thing is really important.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much, Susie. It's wonderful to have you come up and have a conversation with us. Yes, please give her a round of applause. Get behind her too, just like she said. Get on her social media. We need to know that before you leave. How can people get in contact with you and follow you on your social media? So come on back and I need you here. I need to get it on the microphone. So go ahead and have a seat.
No, I just want to tell you guys that when you run into Republicans, you guys know Sophia Cunningham?
Oh, yeah.
Ah, you got her? This is what she does when somebody fouls. She goes like this and she's walking and pointing. They get rather upset with her.
So tell us how to contact you. What's your social media contact? What is
it's just Susie Bird for Congress. I had a Facebook page. I think one of the things I went through was questionable media situation, and now I'm back out. But you can get me Susie Bird on Facebook, Susie Bird for Congress. I'm out there in different places. And I'm also running lots of social media things talking about issues. So
appreciate it. Again, thank you very much. I'm like Bob Barker. Come on down. We're fast approaching that time where we've got a generation who don't even know who Bob Barker is.
Who?
Yeah, you stop that. Go ahead and tell us who you are, what you're running for, and give us your elevator speech.
Okay, my name is Kenny Kemper. I'm running for State Senate for Senate District 22. So that's West Edmond, Piedmont, parts of Northwest Oklahoma City, North Yukon. Lots of miles that the district covers, but it's been great. One thing I've noticed is I'm knocking doors. Is people are ready for change. They're tired of the status quo. They're tired of worrying how they're going to pay their bills. They're tired of worrying about the education that their kids are getting right now in public education. as a dad of 3 daughters, that's why I'm running. I'm tired of seeing the Ryan Walters destroying what our state has been building. And, I'm ready just to show them that, just because something is tough and people say that it can't happen doesn't mean that you just quit. You gotta go in, you work hard every day, and you fight for what you believe is right.
Tell us more about your campaign. Tell us more about your elevator speech, what your platform is. If you're out knocking on door, you're meeting with 100 people, give us your campaign speech.
Okay, so right now, as far as my campaign goes, I'm sitting right around about 3,500 doors.
No, that's wonderful. Great job.
Appreciate that. I work full time still, so I work currently out at the Air Force Base doing IT work.
Good.
I have 3 daughters. One that's a sophomore in high school, one that's in 8th grade, and then a 2-year-old. This one that's back there just playing. But we're just for me, it's public education, it's women's health care. One thing I'm hearing a lot on the doors is homeowners insurance.
Right.
And I think that's something that affects everybody. For me, it's finding those issues that affect the Oklahoma families, not just Democratic families, not just Republican families, but Oklahoma families. And I think that's where the focus needs to be. We need to be focusing on fixing real problems, and that will help everybody, not just part of the state. Yesterday I had a great meet and greet fundraiser up in Edmond at Best of Books, a local indie bookstore that I'm a big proponent of. Had a great turnout, and people came out and enjoyed themselves, and got some great word out, talking to folks, and looking for. I like finding events like this as well, where when it's 100 degrees outside, I can be inside talking to folks when it's in air conditioning.
Right. I'm with you. It was out yesterday. I believe it was 100, but it felt like 115. I believe it was yesterday. Yeah. So it was it was a fun event. It was a great event. With Dogs with Dems, but. My goodness, I was glad to get back in the air conditioner as soon as it was done.
Yeah, I was hoping we would have some coffee up here with the signs.
Yeah, well, we have watermelon instead. we're rehydrating today. Yeah. So no, it's great to have you on. Tell us more about your platforms. As far as you talked about education, you talked about let's talk more about affordability, because that's one of the biggest issues. They're going to come after you. Your opponent's going to call you a liberal, going to call you a communist, going to call you a terrorist. That's the 3 things that we're hearing right now from the GOP with Mike Johnson. He's going to start doing that. So, what is your argument about affordability when people bring that up, and how you want to talk about how affordability really matters in this, because we've had the same legislature in the state of Oklahoma for over 2 decades, and for 2 decades we've seen our affordability decline and our expenses go up.
Yeah, even you just look at the state question that we just recently had. When minimum wage hasn't been changed in, I think they said, was it 2009?
Right.
Time. But prices are continuing going up, right? You can't buy the house you bought in 2009 for that same price now.
Right.
But I think it's a frame of mind that we really need to educate people on. And people right now, people are getting priced out of their neighborhoods.
Yes.
Especially when it comes to our older folks, where people are they're retiring, they're on fixed income, but property taxes are continuing going up. Homeowners insurance is continuing to going up. And for me, that's one thing I hear out talk on the doors about the property taxes and stuff, right? And people, we should just get rid of them. If you just look at the initial thing, not pay it, great. I'd love to not have to pay these bills, but we're already short funded on infrastructure. We're already short funded on public education. That's where a lot of these funds are coming from. So we need to be able to fix the underlying issues before it not just put Band-Aids on things. That's what's big for me. Getting our teachers a livable salary where they don't have to have multiple jobs just to feed their families. Having multiple kids going through school, I'm talking to the teachers and going out, and not just in the summertime, but they teach all day, then they go home, and then they have to go to a second job just to be able to make sure that their kids have the stuff in their classrooms that they need. And for me, that's not right. Our teachers need to be, compensated properly, because we have so many teachers that have left the profession.
Yeah, and left the state too.
Yeah.
Craig McVeigh was so good at articulating the message about, we don't have a shortage of teachers in Oklahoma. There's, I can't remember the total number, an enormous number of teachers that are certified in the state of Oklahoma. They just don't want to teach.
Yeah.
They're tired of being in that environment and underpaid, underappreciated, and constantly being down, talked down to by parents.
Yeah, exactly. And at my event the other day, I had a few teachers there. We were sitting down and having conversations, and they were in that same boat. It was, I think she said 2020, 2021. And she just was like, I can't do it no more.
Right.
And it's a shame, because we have so many great teachers that are, in it for the right reasons.
Yeah.
There's a big difference of a teacher that gets one of those emergency certificates to be able to teach, just because when there's so many teachers out there that they're in it because they want to see the kids get better. They want to see these kids go to college and get these careers and be the ones that are running for office.
Right.
But the way that we're going right now, like Oklahoma is, we're not setting ourselves up for the future. And that's where it comes down to. We need voter turnout that reflects the change that we want to see. And in order to do that, it's going to take everybody. It's going to be word of mouth, sharing on social media, and just talking to folks and making sure that we are, being able to spread the word and get everybody out there, because we can't do it alone. As candidates, it takes everybody.
Right. And the thing about voting, I talk to people all the time, and I bring this this comment up all the time. People keep telling me that did not vote in the last 3 to 6 election cycles. They don't vote. They tell me somebody needs to do something about this. Somebody needs to do something about our affordability crisis that we're under right now. Somebody needs to do something about whatever issue is important to them. And I ask them, who is they? Who is they need to do something? Because it's in your hands as a voter to do something and vote. It's within your power. That's the most powerful thing that you have, is your voice. Use your own voice. Don't yell at somebody else. If you yell that the cavalry needs to come, look in the mirror, because the cavalry is yourself. So I appreciate you, Ken. Thank you very much, Kenny. Running for state senate. Perfect. Thank you so much. Talk to us about how to get in contact with you and your social media.
So my website is real simple, it's kennykemper.com, short and sweet. I found me on Instagram and Facebook at Kenny Kemper for Senate. I try to be as active as possible. I'd love any kind of volunteer work, out knocking doors, driving me while I'm knocking doors. I accept all help. So I look forward to the journey over the next few months.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yep.
Mary Jo.
Kevin, do you want me to say something at the end?
Yeah.
If you're stuck.
Yeah, sure. Yep, we can do that.
In fact, after you and I talk, Barbara would like to
Oh,
connect with you again.
okay.
Do I need to put my glasses?
No, you don't. No. So
Oh, do I hold this?
you do, or if you want me to hold it,
I
I'll hold it.
don't,
Yeah,
I
you got
usually
it.
tend to take control.
You take control, Mary Jo, take control. That's why you're the chair of CD5, right?
Thank you.
So
Yes,
we
I
got
am.
Mary Jo with us, chair of the CD5. Talk to us a little bit. You're not a candidate, but you support the candidates every single day. And I love that about your campaign or your office that you hold. You're so supportive, and I really appreciate that. So talk to us about what you're doing, the candidates that are really, kind of, I know it's going to be hard for you to remember all of them, but talk about the ones that just kind of are more memorable, and the ones that even the ones that.
remember every single one.
Well, you're better than me because I couldn't even remember Jim's name until he came up here and showed me on his name tag. So,
Well, let's do it this way. There are 19 House District candidates throughout CD5. And there are 18 House District races. There are 5 Senate races within CD5. And so that number, along with the 7 statewide candidates, as well as the federal, and we've got a runoff in the federal for the U.S. Senate, and you've already spoken with Jim Priest just now. Where's the camera? Do I need to make eye contact?
Right up here.
Okay, hi, how are you? And the other federal, of course, is the Congressional, Gina Nelson, who fortunately was able to secure the nomination and move forward to the general election. So we have close to 30 races that we're watching and monitoring within CD5 right now. When I came into this role, and again, as a volunteer, about a year ago, we started taking a look at where we were with activities, who's engaged, who's not, who's having regular monthly meetings. And there are different philosophies, I would say, about how to engage voters and keep people active within the Democratic Party. To keep it on a very positive note, we have actually got officers in all 6 counties,
Good.
which are included within CD5. All are part of 3 of them are sliced up, thank you for the gerrymandering, as well as 3 whole contiguous counties that are involved. We have a number of issues from urban to deep rural.
Yeah.
And we also have a diversity on ethnic lines, racial lines, and we are responsible definitely to the disability community as well as the LGBTQ community. And
Right.
excuse me for slurring that, LGBTQ, too much watermelon in my system right now. Anyway.
We need to get you back out on the doorstep, dehydrate you.
Dehydrate. That was, actually, I don't even do the doors. I drive.
Okay.
I drive. Debbie Hope down here and I drive all the time. And I think Barbara does too. Yes, if there's an acknowledgement. But what we're recognizing is that among the CD chairs, the congressional chairs within the Oklahoma Democratic Party, we're looking at a very thin layer of officers that try to address what is happening with our party, how we can communicate and make sure that people between the leadership and the staff, as well as the grassroots, are able to depend on the resources that are being developed literally daily at ODP, and getting information out, supporting registration, voter registration. But here's my mantra, folks, it's not just voter registration. We have voter registration, education, vote.
Right.
There may be other steps in there, but right now that's all my brain can handle. Right now, we need to be talking about supporting all the candidates,
Right.
working with whatever we have. We may not have much money, but right now we're also discovering sometimes money doesn't do the job.
That's exactly right.
So what we're looking for is commitment and people who continue to stay with the program. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. Yes.
So looking at the other side, they just, on the governor race, on the other side, Charles McCall, look how much money that guy spent.
Yes, I love it.
And he
I thought that was great.
he went so far, and spent so many millions of dollars. And then you got a guy down there in Tuttle that couldn't hardly get $100,000, and he's now got a GoFundMe account now to help get himself out of debt. But he beat Charles McCall, who was the first year when they said, when the first poll came out, the first year, he was going to be the next governor of Oklahoma, according to that poll.
Really? Really?
and he is out.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I love that when you brought that up. So,
Yeah, I think we have to remember, there's a balance, and, that balance is non-negotiable, frankly.
right, yeah,
We have to work with folks who, sometimes we may not always agree 100% with each other. I think that's characteristic of the Democratic Party.
but you know what? That's
I really do.
characteristic of Oklahoma, though, right? That's Oklahoma in a nutshell.
Didn't we have some socialist roots back in the 30s?
Oh, sure we did. Sure we did.
So, yeah, we've got quite a few things to contend with. We are literally down to, what, a month out from the runoff?
Yeah,
Oh, is that
25th,
right?
the
Okay,
25th.
yeah, we're less than a month out
Yeah.
from that. And here's the other thing, folks, we cannot ignore the state questions. Please educate yourself about the 2 state questions that are coming up in the August runoff. Me personally, I don't have to be neutral about this. Vote no.
Right, right.
Okay? Vote no. Gee, I mean, come on, folks, let's get a grip here. But the ones in November, find opportunities to educate yourself about the questions that are coming up in November, which are 845 and 847.
Right.
And they're very strategically placed by the Republican majority. So they're trying to lay the groundwork for the inevitability, they think, of continuing to run, the state, the country, without any kind of input from us.
Right.
I've been around the horn a couple of times, I think you have too.
Yeah.
And I'm just not taking this laying down.
Right, right.
And I inspire everyone who's listening to this and who's part of this celebration here today. Don't take it laying down, folks. We can't do that.
Right.
Any other questions?
That's perfect. Thank you so much,
Thank
Mary
you.
Jo.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Kevin.
Yes, thank you. So one last thing, how can we get in contact with you? Do you have a website,
yes.
Facebook,
Okay.
stuff like that?
Let's get down to the nitty gritty here. You can call me on my phone, which is 405-818-4596. Please email the Congressional District email. That is CD5, it's all lowercase, CD5, the number, not the word, .chair@okdemocrats.org.
Perfect.
And those are the 2 ways, other than meet on the street and let's talk. Thank you.
Thanks again. Appreciate it. And Warwick is in the house. Kelly's in the house. Come on down, Kelly. Angela, you just got bumped. Sorry about that.
That's fine. I'm perfectly fine with that.
How are you?
Hey, good to see you.
My
Hey,
brother,
buddy.
Good to see you.
Great to see you too. And you brought the powerhouse with you too.
I got the powerhouse. My daughter Cami back there. Hola, Cami. Yes.
So I'm going to hand this to you.
Okay.
And wow, what a wonderful way to end this Coffee with Democrat. We've still got to get back on here.
Yeah.
We're going to get Barbara on here. But the great thing is you were able to make it. Thank you for being able to make it down here to the Disability Federation Watermelon Feed. You've been out there hitting the ground and running hard. I see you all the time on social media. You got to come down here and rehydrate with some watermelon. So
I'm going to. I was just talking with Mr. Priest. I said right after this. I'm going to have some sandia, some good watermelon.
So great to have you in the house with us. Talk to us about your campaign. Talk to us about what you got coming up next, and give us that wonderful speech that you give all the time at all of your big events. Give us that same elevator speech, and talk to us about what you're doing.
Well, it has been one of the most enjoyable moments of my life and such a humbling experience to get to do this, you know? And so this campaign trail has allowed me to meet so many incredible people and to learn from people with different cultures, different languages, different backgrounds, different experiences that really bleed into this role of Lieutenant Governor. So you want the whole little speech? Right?
Well, that's 10 minutes.
Okay, wait, shit. Only 10 minutes, right? Keep it short. No, we'll keep it short. Most everyone in this room I've been able to meet and get to know, but I imagine there are some other people that don't necessarily know who I am. So I am from Tulsa, Oklahoma originally, and I grew up between Skiatook and Broken Arrow. Came from a divorced family, and so I was back and forth every other weekend, and 2 weeks in June and 2 weeks in August, and dropped off at 11:59 on Christmas Eve to be with my mom on Christmas Day. One of those lived experiences that many families experience sometimes. But my grandparents, throughout all of that, they're the ones who raised me for the majority of my life there in Broken Arrow. And service was just always, literally, the through line of all that we would do all the time. So we would volunteer with Meals on Wheels. We would perform in the Red Web Review to help with cerebral palsy. We were in the AIDS Follies, ambassadors at Tulsa International Airport, just anywhere where we could serve. And my papa, he also served for 44 years in the Oklahoma National Guard and the United States Air Force. My father served, my mom served. It's just been service throughout everything that we've done in life. And so growing up, my grandparents, and again, some of you know this, but they decided to put me into private school. So I also went to this Lutheran school, a Baptist school, a Catholic school, a non-denominational high school where I was senior class chaplain, a Methodist university, and then a Nazarene university for a doctorate. And Kiki would always say, you've got to get to heaven somehow, like hopefully. So I take all these experiences, and then growing up also, I was just sure that I was going to be this dancing bilingual veterinarian. I loved animals, I loved to dance, I loved to travel, and lo and behold, I realized I love animals, I just don't like to do surgery on animals. So I got the bilingual part down, I got the dance part down, and traveling, working here at Frontier City as a singer and a dancer, that also took me to Miami to perform magic, Cairo, Egypt to perform magic, Hershey Park, Branson, Missouri with Debbie Boone. Just so many great experiences. And then there I was on a Royal Caribbean cruise line as a singer and a dancer. And it was in between the cruise ship contracts that I found myself being a permanent substitute teacher for Spanish in middle school. And I am mature enough to do the job and immature enough to still laugh. And had a great time with middle school children. And then I went back on the cruise ship, came back, and that's whenever I had what I consider my very first real teaching job. And that was at a local middle school, and it was 6th through 8th grade, all self-contained, 11 countries and 9 languages represented with newcomer students. And some of them were also refugee students as well. And I always start with them because they truly are the ones that were the best professors of my entire life and taught me so much about what it means to respect each other. And that was our number one rule. We had different religions, we had different traditions, we had different backgrounds, different thoughts. So that number one rule was respect. So you take this crazy background of this guy who also got to travel with my partner, Chris, of 13 years this November to Bangkok, Thailand, where we taught over there. So this traveling everywhere, languages and cultures, and owning my own business right now as an educational consultant and being on different boards and executive boards and directors, fighting against domestic violence and education. All of this, you think, what do you do with all of that? And if you look at that role of Lieutenant Governor, it coincides incredibly well with what those roles and those responsibilities are. Right. One, you're the biggest cheerleader for the entire state. You get to be a spokesperson for the state. And this is the very first bilingual statewide campaign that we do everything in English, pero también hacemos todo en español. Yes. And we've just experienced that today, being at the Peruvian Independence Day at La Cantera at Supermercado Morelos. And then afterwards, going over to Mujeres Visionarias, visionary women, and their own local small businesses that they are building from the ground up. And just getting to hear from all these different people, it helps in this role, because in this role, you also are focused on the workforce and what that looks like. So of course, there are different boards and commissions that you're on, tourism and recreation. You're also with the commissioners of the land, which that is going to be Oklahoma acts as a trustee with other state land that we have, and that revenue goes right into our education funding. You're also working with broadband access, and I've had some great opportunities to meet with other mayors from different municipalities from the Oklahoma Municipal League, and hearing stories about maybe on paper it says that we have broadband access, but then in real life, we don't have the broadband access. And I said, well, I don't really care what the paper says. If you, mayor, are telling me you don't have access, I believe you. You don't have the access. And one of those stories, even the bank was about 6 hours behind because of that broadband. And I said, well, that now begs another question. Whenever you're working with the link deposit, trying to connect entrepreneurs and small businesses to local loans at local banks, but if that bank is 6 hours behind, that's a good redundancy. Right. And so there's different aspects and avenues that the lieutenant governor gets to do to help convene people, bring people together, and have a really big focus on different issues that we have, which we know with my background, there's a big focus on education. You have to have a strong educational system to be able to help get the employers and the employees that we need for our future. And also a big focus on our healthcare system, making sure that we can really consider what does this look like for someone who's going to be a servant leader on 23rd and Lincoln. To be considerate about what our Maslow's needs are, to make sure that we have our basic needs met, we have a roof over our head, that we have a place where we feel like we actually can belong, that we can thrive and not just survive, and that I can start to better myself and who I am, to self-actualize, to give back to our community. So it's really trying to change the conversation about what this is and what this looks like as we bring people together to help elevate the voices of Oklahomans to best serve Oklahomans. Period. End of story. And of course, the other part of Lieutenant Governor are those two constitutional duties that we have, which is you're the president of the Senate. So if and when there's ever a tie, the Lieutenant Governor serves as the tie-breaking vote in that. And then the other is that we have this as something unique in Oklahoma, where the duties and the responsibilities are actually bestowed upon the lieutenant governor whenever our future governor, Munson perhaps, is not here in the state. But then that person has that responsibility as well. So I'm really excited about this. I come from just a very diverse upbringing and background, with my dad having been the Republican mayor. I know that you don't put a letter by your name whenever you run for mayor, but Republican mayor of Skiatook, and him also serving on the city council for 16 years. My grandparents through and through Democrats growing up. But I say that because it's important. The lieutenant governor has a very unique role in the aspect of where they get to work in the legislative branch, but also the executive branch, because you have that direct connection and conversation with the governor, while at the same time you're working with the Senate. And also being able to have conversations with some of the other representatives. So it's important for someone that can come in to actually be here for all of Oklahoma.
That's right.
And we have our own guardrails, and I respect that, I understand that, but it's really important that we start to have healing communication, kinder conversations. It doesn't mean being weak. It means maintaining the integrity of what we have, again, to be the best people that are going to be able to serve our state in the best way possible, based on what the people need here in our state.
Absolutely.
And being visionary at the same time.
Well, that's wonderful. And where are you going next this week? You got anything highlighted?
Next, I'm going home. This is the fourth event of the day, but it's been absolutely really fantastic. It's you all out here that energize me. It's the people that are watching that energize me. Whenever I meet you, I'm telling you, I want to say just thank you, because of the warmth and the smiles and the excitement and the conversations that I get to have, and the necessary pushback sometimes, because I believe that iron sharpens iron. So I want to hear different points of views, but truly, whenever I'm with the people, that's what really energizes me. The next event that I can think of off the top of my head right now, we're going to be somewhere, will be August 6th. It'll be an event in Tulsa at Wompa, and there is an incredible chef who is going to, who is going to serve up some incredible food for us. And then, but I know, and then there's another big event at the end of August, but there's many small events where we're showing up. Go to Forbes for Oklahoma, spelled out F-O-R, Forbes for Oklahoma.com. And we will have, there's links on there for all social media platforms, and we list everywhere where we're going all of the time. And I feel like, and this is, yes, thank you. I knew there was something I could not remember. Sallisaw coming up. So on the 30th, there'll be an education conference here in Oklahoma City. Then we're going to be at the parade in Sallisaw, and then afterwards we will be in Fort Coffee, Oklahoma, having some really exciting, good conversations over there as well. So we're traveling all over this great state.
Well, if you're available on the 29th in Tulsa this Wednesday, I'm having my rally for labor at the Good Cause Brewery that we were just at just a few days ago. So it's Wednesday for a rally for my campaign. I'd love to have you there, but I know you're busy. Everybody is just, we're all of us are trying so desperately to get in front of as many people as we can, because we know what's happening. We know that there's this other machine over there that's got this cha-ching behind them all the time. But, we don't care about that, because all is get in front of people and crisscrossing the state, meeting as many people as we can. We talk about sharing social media all the time. Hey, Chris, you're fantastic, buddy. You are absolutely amazing.
I could not do this without him.
Yes. Your social media is probably one of the best. So I appreciate you guys. You guys are killing it. And it goes back to what we talk about on your social media. Get the shares. The thumbs up makes you feel good. But the share is what gets the people to engaged.
And not only that, and I practice this, and I know that I'm confident, I know from conversations, our other candidates and everyone in this room who tries so hard to help support us all the time, we're talking about each other everywhere we go.
That's
so
right.
Just because you're not with me there, people still know about Kevin Dawson.
That's wonderful.
This is what we're doing all of the time, making sure that we're uplifting and that we're supporting each other through this process. It's going to take a team, and we have great teammates. We just need everyone to hire these great teammates so we can get to work and do something.
So on the statewide side, we got 7 candidates: Cindy Munson, we've got you, we've got Nick Coffey
For Attorney General.
Yeah. Then you've got for State Superintendent of Public Instruction, Janette Marshall. Then you've got the 3 commissioners. You've got myself, Rhonda Eastman, and Craig McIntyre. To me, it's a dream team. It's the Magnificent Seven.
Hey, I think that could be pretty magnificent.
Hey, we're going to have to wrap this up pretty quick. I need to get to Barb next, but thank you so much. Hey, it's such a pleasure to have you come on and talk to people. We're going to break this down into segments here, so you're going to be able to share it on your social in a few days.
Awesome. Well, hey, thank you all so much. And as I always say, and I mean it, I love you, Oklahoma, more than you even know. So thank you.
I got to tell you, you got to tell everybody how to get in contact with you real quick.
Yeah. So don't forget that website again. It's Forbes. It's Forbes, Forbes for Oklahoma.com. And again, there are links on the bottom of that website to all social media on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, X, hip hops, backflips, all of them, everything. Yeah. So
thank you so much.
Come follow us. Have fun with us. We're having a great time.
I love it. Love it.
Thank you.
Love being around you.
I appreciate
too,
you. I'm glad to get to be here. Thank you all.
Yes. I'll let you introduce yourself.
Hey there, everyone. My name is Alex Gavarino. I've been working with the ODP, chairing the Latin Federation here for the state of Oklahoma. Thank you. I'm really hoping that we can continue to work together with the Disability Federation and our other federations to be able to boost our engagement with the public. So thank you so much for having me, Kevin.
Well, it's great to have you, and it's great to see your wife and yourself. And the one thing that I keep saying, once we can get out there, we need your help getting in front of the Latino population.
Yeah.
In Western Oklahoma, we've got to convince a very large portion of the population who are, their parents were immigrants.
Yeah.
They never had the opportunity to vote, but they themselves will be able to vote. And we need to just encourage them, get out, do what's right for yourself. And we think that it's a Democratic Party that's the one that's going to do the most for you out there. So I thank you. So you're awesome, man. I appreciate everything that you're doing, and thanks for so much. Hey, we got to wrap this up in 5 minutes. We got 5 minutes left. So
all right. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it, Alex. Okay.
So I'm going to carry on with what he introduced, which is that we have 7 federations in the Oklahoma Democratic Party. Each one represents a unique constituency. We have an audience. We are in the process of building electoral power, which means we're speaking to our audience. We're bringing our candidates to that audience, and we're encouraging people to go to the polls. At every one of our events, I have a box with several selections of postcards. If you sign a pledge to send out postcards, just write down the number, sign the pledge, and have people turn out to vote. So I encourage you to sign the pledge before you leave, 5 people, and it doesn't cost any money, other than you'll need to put the postage on there, to encourage them to come out for August 25th. Very important that we turn out the vote for August 25th. This is about building electoral power, not only in our federations, but for our Democratic Party and our Democratic candidates. So we have leftover watermelons. And so what we're going to do is auction those off, and Jim Priest is going to be our auctioneer. And I want to thank him because he stayed as a server the whole time. So I am gifting him this cool watermelon apron that says it's watermelon time in memory of his time serving the Disability Federation. So I'm going to turn this over to you.
All right. We're going to have to drop off here.
Wait.
Watermelons.
Yeah, we're going to have to drop this.
Let's start off.
Yeah. So everybody, thank you for being here today. Appreciate all of the guests, all of the candidates, everybody who showed up, all the supporters. We're going to wrap this up on Coffee with Democrats. I want to thank everybody who watched this online and who is going to see this online. I appreciate everybody being here with us. So again, this has been the Disability Federation Watermelon Festival that we've had out here. This is the first one.
This is the first
But
annual.
we're going to do it
Every year.
Yeah, so please watch for more Coffee with Democrats segments as we come up. So.
Oh, I'm sorry. Our next event is our second annual Soup Social, October the 4th. That's Sunday, October the 4th. That will be a coordination between all of our federations. All right.
All right. Appreciate everybody for watching, and thank you. Until the next time, everybody, please be safe.
Coffee with Democrats is broadcast from the multimedia studio inside the Cleveland County Democrats office. With their gracious permission to use the space, our thanks to the Cleveland County Democrats Central Committee and Chair Jamie Shelton for accommodating our Tuesday night show.